Understanding detachment, a different perspective. In the English language, detachment often carries a negative connotation, implying indifference or a lack of caring. It suggests a coldness, a distance from the world and the people in it. This interpretation can make detachment seem undesirable, as if it means turning away from our responsibilities and connections. In Buddhism, however, detachment holds a completely different meaning. It is not about becoming emotionless or disconnected from the world around us. Instead, it is a practice that encourages a balanced and mindful approach to life. It is not about withdrawing from the world or suppressing our emotions. Rather, it is about engaging with life fully, but without becoming overly attached to outcomes or possessions. This form of detachment allows us to experience life more deeply and authentically. Instead, it is about developing a healthy relationship with our thoughts, feelings, and experiences. By observing them without judgment, we can understand them better and respond more wisely. Buddhist detachment encourages us to observe our experiences without getting swept away by them. This means acknowledging our emotions and thoughts, but not letting them control us. It is about finding a middle path where we can remain calm and centered, even in the face of life's challenges. It is about recognizing that everything is impermanent and ever-changing. By understanding the transient nature of life, we can appreciate each moment for what it is, without clinging to it or fearing its loss. When we cling to things, people, or ideas, we create suffering for ourselves. This attachment can lead to anxiety, stress, and disappointment when things do not go as we hoped or expected. Detachment, in a Buddhist context, is about finding freedom from this suffering. It is about letting go of our need to control and allowing life to unfold naturally. It is about cultivating a sense of inner peace that is not dependent on external circumstances. This inner peace comes from understanding and accepting the nature of reality, and from developing compassion for ourselves and others. By releasing our attachments, we open ourselves up to a deeper experience of life, one that is filled with wisdom, compassion, and joy. This deeper experience allows us to connect with others more genuinely and to live with a sense of purpose and fulfillment. Detachment, the path to liberation. It is a journey that begins with understanding and ends with profound inner peace. At the heart of Buddhist teachings lies the Four Noble Truths, a foundational framework that guides practitioners towards enlightenment. The first of these truths identifies suffering, or dukkha, as an inherent part of existence. This suffering manifests in various forms, from physical pain to emotional distress. This suffering, however, is not a life sentence. It is a condition that can be understood and transcended. The Buddha offered a path to liberation from suffering, and this path is known as the Eightfold Path. This path is a comprehensive guide to ethical and mental development. Detachment, while not explicitly mentioned in the Eightfold Path, is a natural consequence of practicing right understanding, right thought, and right mindfulness. These practices help us see the world more clearly and reduce our attachments. When we see the impermanent nature of all things and cultivate wholesome thoughts, detachment arises naturally. This detachment is not about indifference, but about a deeper understanding of the transient nature of life. This detachment is not about physical renunciation alone, although simplifying our lives can be beneficial. It is about creating space in our minds and hearts for true peace and contentment. It is about an internal shift, a letting go of our clinging to desires, aversions, and illusions. This internal transformation is the essence of spiritual growth. This process of letting go, this renunciation of clinging, is what propels us towards liberation. It is a journey of the heart and mind, leading us to a state of profound freedom and joy. Embracing life, releasing attachments. Detachment in Buddhism is often misunderstood as a call to renounce the world and live a life devoid of pleasure or connection. This interpretation couldn't be further from the truth. Buddhism encourages us to embrace life fully, to experience its richness and beauty. The key lies in experiencing life without clinging, without grasping onto experiences and desperately trying to hold on to them. We can savor a delicious meal without craving it constantly or fearing its absence. We can cherish our loved ones without suffocating them with possessive attachment. Detachment allows us to be fully present in each moment, to appreciate the impermanence of life without lamenting its passing. It is in this space of non-attachment that we discover true joy and freedom. Attachment versus detachment, a clear distinction. To understand detachment, it is crucial to recognize the difference between attachment and a healthy appreciation. Imagine a child receiving a new toy. He is overjoyed, plays with it constantly, and even sleeps with it. This is attachment. Now imagine an artist with their paintbrushes. They cherish their tools, take care of them, and use them to create beauty. This is appreciation. The artist understands the brushes are tools to be used and enjoyed, not clung to out of fear of loss. Similarly, we can enjoy a delicious meal, appreciating the flavors and textures without craving it incessantly. We can love our partners deeply without needing to control them or feel threatened by their individuality. This is the essence of detachment. One common misconception about detachment is that it leads to apathy and a lack of concern for others. This is a fundamental misunderstanding of the concept. Detachment in the Buddhist context is not about emotional withdrawal, but about cultivating a clear and compassionate awareness. When we are free from clinging and aversion, we are better able to see the suffering of others clearly. We can respond with genuine compassion, not clouded by our own anxieties or desires. Detachment, in this sense, allows for a purer form of love and compassion. It is from this place of detachment that we can truly be present for others, offering support and kindness without expectation of reward or recognition. This selfless compassion is at the heart of the Buddhist path. Action with detachment, a different approach. This concept invites us to engage with the world in a way that is both active and mindful. Detachment doesn't mean we stop acting or striving for a better world. Instead, it encourages us to act from a place of inner peace and purpose. It simply changes our motivation and our relationship with the outcomes of our actions. We begin to see our efforts as valuable in themselves, regardless of the results. When we act out of attachment, our actions are often driven by ego, desire for recognition, or fear of failure. This can create a cycle of stress and dissatisfaction. This attachment to results can lead to anxiety, frustration, and even despair if our efforts don't yield the desired outcomes. We become trapped in a loop of expectation and disappointment. Action with detachment, however, arises from a place of clarity and compassion. It allows us to give our best without being consumed by the need for a specific result. We act because we see a need and we are moved to help, not because we are attached to a specific outcome. This shift in perspective can be liberating. This doesn't mean we become indifferent to success or failure. We still celebrate our achievements and learn from our setbacks. It simply means we don't allow our sense of self-worth to be defined by these external outcomes. Our value comes from our intentions and efforts, not just the end results. Compassion and detachment, a harmonious coexistence. Compassion and detachment may seem like contradictory concepts, but in Buddhism, they are intricately intertwined. Detachment, by freeing us from the grip of our own desires and fears, allows our compassion to flow freely and unconditionally. When we are attached to outcomes, our compassion becomes conditional. We may help others with the expectation of receiving something in return, whether it be gratitude, recognition, or a sense of self-satisfaction. Detachment allows us to transcend these limitations. We can then act with genuine compassion, offering our help and support without any expectation of reward or recognition. This pure, selfless compassion is a natural outcome of cultivating detachment. Living detachment, stories of wisdom. Throughout Buddhist literature, we find stories that beautifully illustrate the transformative power of detachment. The story of Kisagotami, a grieving mother who approached the Buddha for help in reviving her dead child, is a poignant example. The Buddha instructed her to gather mustard seeds from a household that had never experienced death. Kisagotami's desperate search made her realize the universality of death and the futility of clinging to the past. This realization brought her peace and ultimately led her to enlightenment. This story highlights how detachment, while initially arising from a place of sorrow, can ultimately lead to profound wisdom and inner peace. It is through letting go that we truly begin to understand the nature of reality and find liberation from suffering. Finding peace through detachment. The path of detachment, like all Buddhist practices, is a journey, not a destination. It is a process of continuous learning, reflection, and refinement. As we cultivate detachment in our lives, we begin to experience a profound sense of inner peace and freedom. We are no longer at the mercy of our fleeting emotions or external circumstances. We develop a deep sense of equanimity, an ability to remain centered and at peace even amidst the inevitable ups and downs of life. This inner peace is not a passive state of withdrawal, but a dynamic and vibrant state of being. It is from this place of peace that we can truly engage with the world, offering our unique gifts and contributing to the well-being of all beings.